Happy Halloween! This is D-Swank, and we're taking a look at Generation Zero. This is a game that I have actually beaten, but they have continually added to it almost like it's an early access game, even though the game has been in full release for quite some time now. There's several DLCs, weapons, full content, and not all of it is paid for. There's clothing packs as well, but the I was not going to spotlight this until an update came out recently that added things like New Game Plus and just being able to play the game again without having to delete your old save. Originally, you had one world and you had 4 character slots, and those characters existed in the same world. So if you beat the game with one character, you didn't have the ability to beat the game again without deleting your old character. It just stayed there. Now they have added 4 worlds. You can launch the game and bring an old character across with you, and that is basically New Game Plus. Or you can spawn a new character in that world and play through, which is a good thing. And now I may do a playthrough of this on the channel. It's multiplayer, up to 4 people, open world, and they recently added motorcycles. They've had bicycles for a while, but they recently added motorcycles. So I am going to be driving through the map on the motorcycle and pointing things out as we go. Alright, so first off, this game takes place in the 1980s in Sweden. You've got hinted at that these robots are, well, created by the Swedish government in defense against Russia, and you've got Russian robots that show up. So I'm going to go through the robots that I remember, and then I'll point them out when we pass, because I pass by all of them in this drive. You've got the dogs. I'm not sure their official name, but they're 4-legged. They've got like a pendle mount on their back, and they move in packs. You've got hunters, which are 2-legged. They're probably the second most dangerous ones, in my opinion. Mostly because they have a gun that fires a timed release area effect explosive. You've got tanks, which are these big 2-legged walkers that run at you and are terrifying when they do. They've got a machine gun and a missile launcher. They've got an area effect stomp. You've got the harvesters, which are 4-legged, and they go around collecting things. They can summon in a group of 4 hunters, and they have missiles. And they bundle up, and I believe we've got, yes, that 2-legged thing, that's a hunter. Those rolling things, those are the basic unit of the Russian forces. And if you noticed, okay, that hover thing there, that was their seeker, and there was this 4-legged flying thing that is currently shooting at me with this red light. That is the new Russian enemy that has been added. It's a little frightening, but I just keep going. You may have seen it in the distance as I was coming up on that group. More roly Russians. The Russians pretty much only have one other vehicle, which is their tank equivalent. The Swedes have one more that's called the Tick, and it's tiny, and that's really what shotguns are good for. And I'm surprised that it caught that finding. Up here in a bit, you're going to see me react to 2 surprise tanks. One is a military class, and one is a those are the the class of vehicles. You have prototype, military, Phoenix, FNIX, and experimental. And experimental are in a DLC. And here's the two tanks that I was somewhat surprised by, and I just ran into the vehicle, and I just want to run away. I could probably have fought them, and I'm accidentally repairing the vehicle, the bike. I don't want to be. There's one of them with the Gatling at me. But we run away. Now, the story is mostly told, and originally it was told through sound audio logs and things on answering machines and stuff like that. Now they've actually added people that you can somewhat interact with. There's another tank. And a Seeker. There is a safe zone. It's a bunker there's bunkers scattered all over the place. As you go through, you can find schematics, weapons, tanks, missiles, all sorts of stuff. I wasn't entirely sure where I'm going, but there's that area on the river over there. That's where I'm going. I just used the track ability and stepped off the bike, which is dumb. Why I'm going over there is there's almost always Russian and Swedish bots fighting over there. Okay, there's another one of the new Russian flyers. They're about the same size as the tanks and the harvesters and the Russian tanks. So they all carry a lot of goodies that you can, well, salvage. The game, since release, has added a crafting station that you can build ammo at, and they've added a base area, which at some point I drive through the bases. Okay, here's tanks, and this is practically every part of both militaries fighting here, except there is no harvester for the Swedish side. That big thing that just stood up in the background, yeah, that's the Russian tank. And up here a bit, we will see that the hunters actually hide in the woods pretty well. There was one, and I actually saw him before I drove through, unlike when I was playing, because I was focused on not losing control of the bike. They also have a toxic gas cloud as a variant weapon. The experimentals that I mentioned before that are part of the DLC are the scariest group. Now, we've got weapons, you've got pistols, a bunch of different types of pistols, rifles, assault rifles, shotguns, machine guns, and rocket launchers. You've got different ammo types, 270, 308, 556, what is the AK round? 762? Buckshot, slugs, birdshot, with the rocket-propelled grenade. I believe it's just explosive rounds, but for the Carl Gustav, basically. Well, it's a recoilless rifle. You've got smoke grenades, which are practically useless in my opinion. Explosive and EMP. EMP shuts them down. You've got mines. You've got propane tanks that you can use to detonate. You've got EMP bombs that you can build out of car batteries. And yeah, usually this field is just full of things. And it actually becomes full of things fairly soon. But I'm pulling up on a harvester at the moment, which means the only thing I haven't shown you is the tick, and I don't think I got any footage of ticks, which are terrifying because they launch in swarms and they come after you, and they have little barbs that shoot electricity at you, and it's just not fun. Okay, I get up. I have an experimental gun. Let me go back to, well, you also have different tiers of first aid kits. You've got binoculars, you've got different vision modules that you can attach, which are infrared, night vision, and x-ray. And if you put points in the correct area, you have tech vision. This character is max level. You have 30 levels. And you have several trees. You can respec by using uranium, which is a unique crafting. Here's the trees. Uranium. You get uranium every time you level up after hitting 30. It's a very rare crafting, and you can craft bullets for a pistol that can take out tanks very easily with it. So that's why I'm not respecing. Then we've got, well, the weapons. If you noticed before when I brought up the menu, the inventory menu, there were pips beside the weapons, and they had different colors. You have gray for 1 pip, green for 2 pip, blue is 3 pip, purple is 4 pip. Here we go. Gold is 5 pip, and that was the original best guns that you could get in the game. And now you can get a limited number of experimental 6 pips, and they all do unique things. I forgot about the grenade launcher, which has smoke and EMP and explosives as well, I believe. The last thing is that as you do damage in an area, you can cause a rival to spawn. And when a rival spawns, they're basically a bot that is a little meaner. It can be any of the big bots, hunter, or bigger. I don't know if the big flying one can be a rival or not. I wouldn't be surprised. And when you take those out, they have a chance of dropping clothing loot or new guns. Or recently they've added, and I haven't received one, gun skins. And here I'm using the tech vision to look at the names of things. The soldier, I believe, is the low end of the Soviet, the Russian bots. Military is the mid-tier for the Swedish bots. And it's kind of fun to sit here and watch a fight going on. But you take them out, you go loot, you run away, and you do the missions. Once you get a threat in an area large enough, not a rival will spawn. Oh, what do they call it? But it's basically a super rival. And I've only defeated it once. And it is terrifying. It has a thermobaric blast that will kill you if you're close to it when it goes off. It's a heavily modified tank. It has shields, and you have to shoot out the shield generators to actually hurt it. And that's something I hadn't mentioned. You can disassemble these bots with your gun as you're fighting them. The game has some achievements that you can earn through defeating certain numbers of bots, and you unlock clothing mods. And it goes on like that. You've got safe houses scattered around, you've got missions. It's a fun game, and if people want, I would be willing to play through the storyline of this game from the beginning, try and get a group of like 4 people together so we can play it as a group and run through and see if we can just finish the game. Let me know if that is something that interests y'all, and I will see you next time. Until then, bye-bye.